Hi, how are we? Hope we're all well. Sorry I'm late. I had a hairdresser's appointment and we were chatting and it just went on a little bit longer than estimated. But I'm here now. I don't know what's going on with my setup. It's all weird. I can't get it right, but this is what we're going with. I don't know why my camera's in shot as much as it is, as low as it is. Not sure, but hey ho, we can cope. We can cope. Whew. Yeah, haven't even had me a cup of tea, but I'll cope. Don't worry. So, how are we all? Hope we've had a lovely week. I have. I've had a bit of a chilled week. Got a few jobs done that needed doing, especially now that the weather's a little bit cooler. I'm able to get stuff done easier. It feels a lot nicer. So yeah, I think the issue is that this is higher than I normally have it. Maybe. I don't know, it just looks odd to me. Maybe not. Not sure. Okay. Stop messing, Lise. Yeah, right. You may have seen there's lots going around. Lots of people have already informed or starting to inform their customers of some changes that are happening within Stampin' Up. As people, we don't really like change, but I think these changes will be good. It's going to take some getting used to, yes, some of them, but you know, first off is we will be phasing out red rubber cling stamps. So let me see if I've got some cling stamps. I haven't got many actually. Like this. The red rubber that comes like this, and you have to put them on a block, but they've already got the foam built in for a little bit of squishiness. So yeah, red rubber will be being phased out. We will still offer the same selection of stamps for the same quality of stamps with the photopolymer. Red rubber was always used for more detailed images, but photopolymer has come that far now that they're like for like, they're on par. And because of that, or as well as that, to go along with that, we will be changing the packaging on the stamps. All stamps and dies will come in the die-like envelopes. They will be larger. Oops. They're all going to be a set size. I can't remember the exact size, but I seem to think they're larger than this, if I remember rightly. This is like a 6-inch by 8.5. So that's like 15 centimeters by 21.5, some approx. I believe they're going to be around that side, maybe a bit bigger. I can't remember off the top of my head. And dies and stamps will be in the same. There'll be envelopes like we've got our dies in. But stamps and dies will have artwork on them. So you'll be able to see what's in them. It does mean you can store a lot more. They'll take up a lot less space, and because that we've only got photopolymer, they go in easy as well. Now, if you like me, you love the CD cases because they're on my shelf and I can see on the spine exactly what stamp set I want, what images and that are in it, and I like that. We will still be selling the CD cases separately, so you can change them into one of these if you wanted. I'm going to see how I go with changing over and just letting it go that way. I'll still have like my crossover ones in these, and we'll see. You know, we can try it. And I would thought as long as there's a market for it, these will stay. And I believe we'll also be selling the new storage, the envelopes, plastic envelope storage, so that if you wanted to convert all your stamp sets you already have in the CD cases, you can pop them into these. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you. But also going along with that is the Stampin' Right markers. These that we have, that are a brush tip at the one end, and they are a fine nib the other. Well, that's an old one. They're not like that anymore. They are, I don't know if I've got a new one. Oh, well, like that now. A felt tip nib. Are being discontinued. They are on last chance list now. Once they're gone, they're gone. That's it. We won't have any more. And mainly because blends have been so popular and have taken over what people are using to colour, because people prefer them. I personally prefer them. They're a nicer medium to work with for colouring. And also the main technique that the Stampin' Right markers were used for was colouring onto the cling stamps and stamping with that, so you can get multiple colours. Well, because we haven't got the cling stamps, that's not going to be doable anyway. People do it with photopolymer, but it's not as successful because it tends to pool on the photopolymer. So yeah, they're going. There are reasons behind all of this. You may have seen videos put out there. Stampin' Up have given us a video. They've also done a video that we can share with our customers. I will be sharing that. But it's down to mainly raw materials. The raw materials, one of them for making the cling stamps, is becoming less and less available. And rather than change and skimp on quality, they're deciding that it's time to go. Hi, Ange, how are you? Hope you're well. I'm just explaining about some of the upcoming changes. I don't know if you've seen or heard, cling stamps are being phased out, so everything will be photopolymer. The Stampin' Right markers are being discontinued. They're now in last chance. Once they're gone, they're gone. And the photopolymer stamps, which is all we'll have now, will not be coming in the CD cases going forward. What we've got will already come in them because we've already got them. They will come in an envelope like the dies, but they'll be larger and they'll all come in the same size. So yeah, it's change, but we'll go with it and we'll see. They're not going to have made these decisions lightly. It's all to do with trends of what's selling, what's not, raw materials, everything has a knock-on effect. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say on that. There we go. It's happening and I think it'll be good. I do think it'll be good. Change is good. Right, crafting. So we're using the Bee My Valentine stamp set. Switch cameras and the coordinating Bee Builder Punch. So I thought we'll make a couple of cards, and I thought today we'll do a bit of a Emboss Resist technique using the honeycomb, just so that I can share that technique with you, and we'll make a simple card using that, and then we'll do something else. Hopefully we'll have time. So first of all, I'm going to need a piece of basic white. That's my standard size panel, which is 10 centimeters by 14.4. Now I am going to have it portrait. I am going to bring in my stamping mat and a piece of scrap grid paper. Right, so I want my honeycomb, and I'm going to create a background. So I'll get rid of the smaller block. So how is everybody? I hope you are well. And I want my embossing buddy, and I want some white embossing powder, and I need a Versamark ink. I have nothing ready because I was late. I was late back from the hairdressers, so all the time I had to prepare was gone. So I'm just going to run over with my embossing buddy just to make sure there's no grease or static on my card. And then I'm going to use Versamark ink, and I'm going to randomly stamp all over my card. And I am going off the page. I'm turning my stamp round so that I get a bit of a more random pattern or non-pattern. Now you probably can't see anything at all. If I tilt it, I can just see where I've been. So I will be doing quite a bit of lifting it up and tilting it so that I know which bit I've stamped and which bit I haven't. And it is actually a little bit easier to do when you've got a bit of a dirty Versamark pad. And as long as you're not using clear embossing powder, it's not a problem. Right, a couple more on here. Just twisting it around. I'm just going to have a nice background. It's a nice way to create a background, simple. One more there, I think. Right, let me just look. Yeah, I think I've got most of that covered. Now, I'll just pop that there. Oh, excuse me. Let me bring in my piece of card that's covered in gold embossing powder. That's what I was using last night. Alright, so I'm going to shake my white embossing powder on top. I mean, if it's a small piece, I stick it in my tub, but this piece won't fit. Give it a bit of a flick, and I'll just do this here where I was holding it, just to make sure it's all covered. Everywhere I've stamped is covered, and then there you go, you can see that's just a random pattern on there. Oops, and I'm spilling embossing powder everywhere. We do have an embossing tray at the accessory toolkit, which does come with a tray to be able to do this in. But yeah, it's still sat as yet on my wish list. Right, I'll just switch plugs because I have to unplug my phone to plug in my heat tool. And we'll just heat this. So what have you been up to, and you done much crafting? Following that round. White on white's not the easiest to show on camera. Turn round. There we go. So that's that done. I will unplug that because I don't like having my phone and my light plugged in using the same plug. I've got one plug that's got two USB sockets in, but I don't like using it more than I have to because the plug gets rather hot. Right, so there you can see, there we go. I've just done the random pattern on there. Right, so I'm going to bring in my glass mat now. I'm going to do a bit of blending. There we go. And I'm going to bring my yellow brush. And what colour? I think because we're going to have a bumblebee on here, which is going to be Daffodil Delight. So, and this is meant to be the honeycomb, which is a bit deeper, isn't it? So I think we'll go for Crush Curry. Bring this over my mat because it holds my ink pad nicely. Stops it moving about. Right. I'm just dabbing my brush onto my ink pad. Sorry, you're getting a glare, aren't you, off that? There you go. That's stopped the majority of it. If I hold that there. And then I'm going to dab the excess off on my glass pad so that I don't go in with lots of ink because I don't want a great big blob. And just lightly going over in circular motions. And then I'm going back over where I dabbed the ink off so that I can pick up that ink back on my brush so that I can spread it. And we're going to turn our card. Okay, and again, just to grab some more ink. And the lighter you go with the pressure, the less ink that comes off in one. I was pressing quite hard along that edge and I've got a bit of a darker straight away. But that's okay, I don't mind. On the edges we can have it a bit darker because I will be adding some more. As you see, I mainly do circular motions, but I do go back and forth in some areas for if I just want to cover somewhere particular. I'll bring in a bit more of that ink. I'll turn it again. I'm going to end up with ink on me, but that's okay. A bit more ink. I'm just going to keep repeating until I've built it up to the colour that I want. Right, so now I'm going to go in mainly around the edges, adding some darker, just so it adds some depth to the edges. Just think that gives a nice effect. Okay. There we go. I think I'm happy with the way that looks. That's just that little bit dark around the edge. Oh, you lost me for a minute. You're good, thanks. Not done much crafting. Need to get back into it. Yes, definitely. Sorry, my mouse was on where your comment had come up, which meant it didn't show it. There's other things that get in the way, isn't there, unfortunately. Right, so I'm done with that, and I've just got an old tea towel I'll wipe that up with. I will clean it properly later. It's just so that I don't get no transfer when I move it. Right, before I move it, I'm just going to go over this with my tea towel and remove the ink off the embossing. And where it's been embossed, the ink will just lift. I'm only lightly rubbing over it. But there you go. And we get a lovely little background. Right, so we'll move these out the way. I'll pop that back. And get rid of this so we haven't got the glare. Right. So we now need at least one bee, if not two, or maybe more, we'll see. So I'm going to grab my bee stamps that we need. So I need a body, and I need the additions to his body. I need bow bits for my wings, and then we'll need a face, but I shall decide what face I fancy after. So let's grab a couple of blocks. What we need, and I need this one. Oh, sure what that is. That my honeycomb's on, so I shall give that a clean. I'm back to use my scrub because I hadn't dampened my chamois. So for today we've got a scrub. Right, there we go. So I want some scrap paper, basic white card, which I've got here. All my little scraps, and I am going to stamp a couple of these. We'll see if that's enough on those pieces. Again, I'm going to bring in my stamping mat. Right, so I want Daffodil Delight, and I've marked my Daffodil Delight so that I don't forget it needs to be upside down, because unfortunately my pad has come unstuck. So until I put in another order, I need to be careful. Yeah. Pokey tool just to hold it down. I could re-stick it, but because it's moist, it won't stick very well. I could wash it out and re-stick it and then re-ink it, but I thought, you know what, I'll just use it until it's no good, or my new one comes. And yeah, I've bought a new one. Alright, so we've got our 2 bee bodies. I'll do 2, whether I use 2 I'm not sure. And then we want our black, so I'm just going to go with Memento black, and we're going to do our detail. Now I'm going to punch this out, so what I want to bear in mind is which way the punch will punch it out. So as I put it in, it'll be facing with its tail to the left, to the right. I mean, really, on a piece like this, it doesn't matter because I could turn it round, but it's good practice to get into the habit of checking things like that. All right, so I'll just make sure we've got plenty of ink on there. Sorry if you end up with my head in shot. Line that up best I can. There we go, that's not too bad at all. And for the other one, I'll do the same. I've got glare. That's a bit off, but it's okay. Yeah, I've got a bit of glare on my block there. Like I say, nothing's set up right for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm struggling to get my cameras to be where they need to. All right, so punch that one. And that one. And because they've got a little white border around, it'll help them to show up on here with the yellow against the yellow, even though it is a different yellow. All right, so we need some wings. Now I'm going to do stereotype. I want a male and a female bee, and I'm going to do blue pool party for the male, and for my female I'm going to use petal pink for the wings. Not the normal colour you would do, but that's what I'm going. Right, I want my scrap piece of grid paper, and I'm going to do my outline of the wings first. I'm going to do petal pink, and then I'm going to do the infill in petal pink but Stamp Off. That's nice and light. There you go. We need 2 of those, of course we do. Forgetting. Need a pair of wings, not just 2 wings. There we go. So that's those. Oh. And then we can clean our stamps, and we'll do our pool party. Do 2 of those straight off. I'll remember this time. And again, Stamp Off for our pool party. And these make, as you can see, lovely hearts, but also I've done flowers with them that look really cute. So yeah, they're not just for these wings. Right, we'll punch these out. Bring back our punch. Oh, that's 1 and 2. Oops. Lots of scrap card floating around everywhere. I'm just going to rip that off because it's interfering with me getting the image lined up. And with these, you don't have to be perfect on lining them up, either the stamps or the punch, because it's not perfect. The outline doesn't fit perfect. It's a double outline, so it's fine if it's a little bit off. There we go. It's very forgiving, shall we say. Right, so pop those in the bin and keep that bit there in case we want it for something else. Right. Oh, excuse me, the dog wants to go out. Want to go out? There we go. And of course, I had the door shut because Hayden was hoovering. So I've opened the door now so the dog can come in and out as she pleases. Alright, so for our bees, I think our bees are going to go towards each other. So we want a face on our bees. And we've got a number of faces. We've got a smiley face, a winky face, a super happy face. Oh, excuse me. And a bit of a side-eye face. Well, I don't think we want a side-eye face, do we? Hi, Hayden. You all right? If you make me a drink, I'd be very much appreciated. Whatever, water, whatever. So I think we'll go for beans as they're two little bees coming together. We'll go for a super happy, which has fallen there. A super happy face. And I think we need a winky face. I do think these faces are so cute. Right, I'm going to bring in my stamping mat again to do those. Okay. And we'll bring back our memento. Thank you, my dear. Hey? You did run it. Thank you. Right. I'll just add our faces on here. One on there. And the other on there. Put those away. Those out the way. Right. So we need now to build our bees. Now sometimes I've put wings on. Each bee will have 2 sets of wings. And I've just done it like that with 2 sets that side. But actually, if one set's coming from the back there, the other set will be here, not further, not on its back, so it'll come from here. So I am going to do that, and I'm just going to chop off straight across there. So it's just on one set of each, just where the outline comes down to, so you've got it straight across. I mean, we don't have to be exactly correct. I don't think bees actually look like this. Right, so I'm going to add glue to my full set. Just onto the bottom. And then we can pop that there. And then this set we'll add a tiny bit of glue on the back and add it around there, just at an angle, and that to me looks a little bit more correct. And we'll do exactly the same with this one. We can add that on there. And obviously the winking ones. Cheeky male. There we go. I'll have those on there like that. Then I want in the middle a sentiment, and we can have Happy Valentine's Day. You'll always be the one for me. You make my heart buzz, or love you. And I think I'm going to go for you make my heart buzz. And I'm going to have that on. I think we'll do it embossed white on black. I think that'll look nice. And then we can cut it out either in a shape or might have it. Shame I haven't got the hexagons because it'd look quite nice on a hexagon. But we can have it on a circle, maybe. Right, let me just make sure I've cleaned these. I think I did, because I want a block. Right, so we'll emboss again. I just think it'll stand out nice, embossed. And we shall, right in the middle, pop that, give that a clean. And again, we'll bring in our white embossing powder, which is here. And just dump that in there. Give it a shake off and a bit of a flick. Not sure how that might be okay. That is some older embossing powder that I've got. It's not old. It's not old. It's older. And it's not as good as the Wow fresh stuff I've brought. And I forgot, really. I should have used that for Word. But sometimes it's okay. We get away with it. I think I'll get away with it on this card because of the way it is and it being buzz and what have you. It doesn't matter if it's not a perfect. Right, what shape shall we use? Let me see. What's a circle? It would be that circle, I think. Yeah. Oh, actually, that would be okay, wouldn't it? Yeah. So let's die cut that out from there. Bring in the little machine. Nice and simple. I'll just pop that in the middle of there. That's quite central, I think. Yep. Oops. And that. We have a lovely circle with our sentiment on. think I may end up redoing that. I'll see. Alright. You make my heart buzz. I do have some new red ribbon. This is the shiny ribbon. I'm wondering whether to introduce a bit of red. Stay there. Stay there. Yeah, that's not too bad, is it? What else have we got? Oh, I've got yellow. No, quite like that bit of red in there. So we'll go for that. This is the new shiny real red ribbon that's coming in the winter catalogue. So it will be available from the 3rd of September. And as you can see, it's shiny on that side, but then it's just plain on that side and not quite as deep a red. I'm not going to have the shiny side, I think. Take the tape off and then I'll just add it to the front, twist it round and stick it down and across the middle ish. As long as it's level, it doesn't, I don't feel it matters so much about it not being exactly the middle, but it does really need to be level, or as level as. Alright, I'll move that because my cats will be playing with that. Alright, so we have a lovely piece of ribbon, and then we can lift these up on some dimensionals. So we'll have one top and bottom there. And again, going for the centre or thereabouts. Let's just pop those. Make sure we've got it in the centre, so we've got about the same gap either side. There we go. A couple on each of these. I'm going to need some more dimensionals. But we'll use our edges for now. We don't want to waste those edges. Okay. Take the backs off these. I'll have one there. And that actually can be slightly higher. Don't want it all exactly the same in a row. It's nice to have a little bit of difference. Right, then I think some little hearts. Now we have got some that you can stamp, but I really don't fancy stamping and fussy cutting that. So I am going to go with just using the little one. There's a little heart on the punch, which is actually made for punching out his antennae, which I haven't done. So I'll just use that. Where's my real red? There we are. Got scrap here, and as you can see, I've already used it for exactly that. I should be able to get that, cut that off. To do it there actually. One. Two. I have 3 little hearts, maybe, if not. I might just do one, but we'll do 3. Ready? Get rid of the rubbish. Okay, so we could have beautiful little hearts. Don't like it on there. There we go. How cute. Do I just want them? I think I'll just have the 3 all at the top. You make my heart buzz, and they can be my little embellishments. Mini dimensionals. I've got none of those either. Let's cut a piece of this because it's smaller. Okay. That's a nicer side. Now both sides are the same, but you'll find that where it's punched out, one side looks neater than the other. It's just which way up the punch has been. Sometimes I can't even tell. Okay. I'll pop one up there. One there. And one down here. Lots of love. And then we'll add some wing Castella just to the wings. Front wings. On each, just to give it a little bit of bling. And we can add some on our hearts too. And as we're not really putting any bling on, because those are our embellishments. There we go. You might not see that. No, it doesn't show up, does it, on here? Oh, there you go. You can see it there on the red. Little twinkles. Okay, so we want a card base, which I'm thinking, or at least a black outline. I quite like it on a black card base. Yeah, we'll have a black card base, but I want it the other way. It's a landscape. I like my landscape cards the other way. Oh, excuse me, gosh. So 14.9, we're going to score and cut it in half at 10.5. And then we can fold it. I put mine up against the edge so that I make sure I get it nice and level. And bone fold up. And we can glue that down. Would look nice on red as well. Oops. Surprised I didn't drop that and it go everywhere. I've had a bit of a day today. Got up this morning. And within 15 minutes, my cat had left me a nice present on the windowsill. Because she'd overeaten. And then I dropped a bottle of milk, putting it back in the fridge, and that smashed all over the floor. So I had milk and glass all over my kitchen floor. which wasn't great. So I knew my day was off to a bad start straight away. There we go. Have an inside in there. And I'm just going to stamp these 3 little tiny hearts that come with this. I'll grab real red. Stamping matte. It's actually piercing matte, isn't it? But I'll have the 3 little hearts just in the corner, just to mimic the 3 that are on the front. Pop that in. And there we go. Lovely little bee card. How cute is that? Right, I am going to do another one. I'm just going to do a quick, simple stamping. Let me take that out and plug my phone back in before my phone dies. Right, let's clean these stamps off. Just to make sure that they're clean. Oops, I've got an extra one on there. Put on. Okay, right. Grab a drink. Thank you, Ange. Yes, have a go. I love Embossed Resist. I think it's a fabulous technique. Right, let's get rid of these hearts and these faces for now. And we're going to use some flowers. I'm just going to do a simple flower card with this. Right, so again, I'm on my panel here. I'm going to need a mat, but I'm going to mask off so I'm just going to cut this in half. Just got a masking sheet. Okay, I am going to mask. Right, there we go. That seems quite sticky and I don't want it to rip my card as I pull it off. These aren't Stampin' Up. These, I was given these. So I'm just going to come down a couple of centimetres, I think. About there. And then the other one as well. And as you can see, I've put it on my jeans, well, my trousers, it pulled all the fluff off. And the animal hair. Because yes, I have had animals. So my clothes do have animal hair on them, I'm afraid. There we go. Okay, make it about this. So I need to make it a bit bigger, I think. So pop that one there. And we'll put, oh, look at that. That pulled off lovely. Right, that one about the same again. There we go. Right. That's stuck down great on there. So I've just got an area in the middle that's free. And then I'm going to be using some stamps, some little flowers that are in here, and flower stems. Oops, that's because I've got the door open. Right, we're going to go Granny Apple Green for our stems. I'm staying with the brights, and I'm just going to pop some stems on so they're just sticking up above, some a bit further than others, some down low, and then I can fit some of the others in between. And some face one way, some face the other. There we go. See how we go with that one. And we could keep it with the same, couldn't we? The red and the yellow. Daffodil Delight and Real Red. I mean, you can do it absolutely any colour you fancy. Or should we go a bit different? Yes. Let's go Strawberry Slush, because we like that. We like more. Strawberry Slush and a bit of, how about Blueberry Bushel? And we're just going to have a mixture of both, because we've got full flowers and part flowers. So I'm just going to add randomly that one, and then one of them there, and then we'll clean those off. I'll come in with Blueberry Bushel then for a couple. And that, and that, and that. Doesn't matter that it goes off. And just have one of those there and there. Okay. This is just a real simple card. Oh, I thought I was getting green everywhere. It's off this. Takes longer to dry on there. Now, perhaps didn't need to mask that top bit. So I am wondering. Yeah, no, that's fine. I was thinking about putting some colour, but no, I'm not going to. But yeah, I didn't need to mask that. Okay, and just peel that off. Perhaps would have looked nice if we'd have done it lower down and done them coming from both ways. But that's okay. That's what we've got. So we've got a really nice little motif across. Just a little panel straight across. I've got a little bit of blue ink there, which is really annoying, but that's something I can deal with after. Right, so I think we can have some ribbon across there. Go Strawberry Slush. I haven't got Blueberry Bushel, but I could colour Blueberry Bushel, and I could colour Granny Apple Green. I wonder what. Or I could go white. Or some twine. Let's go twine. White twine. Yeah, let's go with white twine. I'm going to stick that. Oh my. Right. I've now got green on it. So I am going to chop this down. Chop it there. And that's the thing, if you get ink on things and that, don't worry about it. We can chop things down. It's just a piece of card. In which case, I'm going to pop this onto a coloured piece of card. And I'm going to go for Blueberry Bushel, because it's not a colour I use very often. And it'll stand out nice against it. I'm going to chop a piece to use as a layer. So again, I'm going to cut one at 14.9, so that then I've got my card base, and then this I'll chop down to 10 and 14.4. And then we can pop that on there so that we get a nice, but might emboss that because there's not a stamp I want to stamp on it. So what embossing folders have I got? I'll have a nice eyelet. That's just very simple. I don't want nothing too over the top. I do need to bring in my larger machine for this. And we need our plate 1 and our plate 4 because it's a 3D embossing folder. There we go, pop those away. So what was going to be a simple stamping card isn't such a simple stamping card. It's still a simple card, but it's now got an embossed background, which I wasn't going to have. But I like how things evolve. I'd got an idea, I went with it. It didn't end up being what I thought I was going to do, which is fine. I then had to change it anyway because I'd got ink on it. And that happens. It happens to us all. My dog's chasing my cat. And that's fine, you know. We just go with it. So now I've cut that down. And because we've embossed it, it has gone a little bit smaller. It shrinks, obviously. So we'll be able to cut that down again. So I've added that more or less to the middle. Of that. And then I'm going to bring in my twine. Just wrap a bit of twine around the bottom like I was going to. Have to say, it's not my normal style of card, but you know, there's nothing wrong with having a go at something a bit different. And I must admit, I've created cards before that I'm a bit about, and other people have really liked them. And that's the thing, isn't it? We've all got different taste. And sometimes I create a card like this That's totally not what I was going for. It just evolves, and I've ended up really liking it. I'm like, my gosh, actually, you know, that's nice. Right, I'll just chop that somewhere there for now. I'll move that. Let's just give that a bit more texture. Right, I am going to add it to a white card base. We definitely don't want no more colour. And again, I need a landscape, and I haven't got landscape cut. I'll just cut this off here, save moving things out the way. There we go. Oh, I didn't score that exactly in the middle, did I? Because that hasn't folded very well, so that's okay. Right, pop that on there. That's the thing, we've got these stamp sets that have got main images in them, but don't forget there are those other little images as well, the supporting images, that you can just make cards with from them. That's it. And then just for quickness, I shall grab the ephemera pack with a sentiment on. That's just a thank you. That's quite a very simple thank you, which we can add down there. Dimensionals. Let's do some snipping on here. I'll just add that. A couple of pieces of this edge. There we go. And pop that there. And then a bit of bling. What shall we have? Those are wrong pink. Got some white. Just keep it very simple. We need something that's got a bit of a shine, not matte, I do believe. Gold. I don't think we want gold. Those are matte. Got lots of matte ones. Or we've got our actual rhinestones. I think the white iridescent. I think it'll just give it that little bit of something. I'm just going to pop them in the centre of the flowers. They look a bit bare. And I quite... Oops. I was trying to move that one across. And it's come out. So it's very rare I put middles in flowers of gems or of gems. Shall I start that sentence again? It's very rare I use gems as centre of flowers. But something like this, I feel, needs it. Especially with it being the main image. Oh, and you think the white as well? Yes. I forget to give you time to answer, don't I? But yeah, I'm glad you're with me on that. Right. So we just need an inner for that and we're done. I know I've run over a little bit today, but I think that's partly because I was late. I'm just going to have some of these flowers. And we'll get strawberry slush. See, I've got green on that. Okay, I need to get rid of that masking paper and buy some of our masking paper, because that just lets ink everywhere because it doesn't dry on it, and then everything I touch is covered in ink. Alright, just pop this in here. Like so. It just finishes that off nicely. And there we have our 2 cards today, using the Bee My Valentine stamp set, and that one's using the Bee Builder Punch. Oh yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm quite happy with how that turned out in the end. I think I need to chop some of this off a bit. It's a bit long. But you know, sometimes it's quite amazing how cards just evolve. They evolve themselves almost. I mean, that was nothing other than the fact that it's a stripe of flowers. It's nothing like I intended it to be at all. But there you go. Right, my chair I've disappeared. My chair's lowered. I haven't locked it. I forgot to lock it, so it lowers. But yeah, I'm really pleased with those. Thank you, Ange. Oh, good. I am glad. That's what I aim to do. Here to inspire and get people's crafty mojo going. If you have a play, do share. Love to see what you make. But yeah, I shall be back this evening. I shall be back at 7:30 this evening, where we'll be using the Bee My Valentine and Bee Builder Punch again. Probably mixing it in with some other products to make a scrapbook page. So if you're about this evening and you fancy a little bit of crafty company or just to sit and watch, do hop on. If not, hopefully I'll see you all next week. So thanks very much for joining. See you later. Bye.